All right, my friends, I just bought 100 shares, not much, of Principal Financial Group, PFG. Man, my dogs, wet dogs, woo, they stink. And the reason for that is simple. So Principal is going to basically go, they're getting out of life insurance and annuity business. The CEO, well, not the CEO, the board has agreed to buy back 1/17 of their outstanding shares. So they have a $17 billion market cap. They're going to pay $1.2 billion to buy outstanding shares. All right. Has that already been reflected in the price? I have no idea. But it doesn't take a rocket science to figure out what's happening here. All right. So Principal, their board of directors who have all the shares, the CEOs, the executive suites, the C-suite people, they're going to sell out to private funds, private equity. And private equity will take them private, which is what private equity does. They lop off 50% of the workforce, and who knows what happens to the company after that. But the reason why this is important to understand is, why do you think the principals of Principal are doing this? Because they say, we're going to buy back these shares because we want the share price to go up so that way we get paid more when we sell out. So think about how many shares the executives have of Principal. The more they buy back from Principal's cash, the more value those shares become for when Principal gets bought out. And typically when they get bought out, it's at a premium above the share price as well. So let's look at this real quick. We're just going to look at Principal stock. I'm not recommending you do this. Do whatever you want to do. I don't care. Not a recommendation, but I just want you to know I just bought 100 shares in all transparency. All right, so here we got Principal. $63 a share. It's up from its low of, look at that, 23 back in March of 2020. So it's up 300% from then. That's a pretty significant run up. But it's not up that much higher from 2019. Let's go to 5 years, by the way. It's up 22%, or 53% from 2016, excuse me. That's good, but certainly not. That's not rocket setting. That's for sure. So let's just go to 1 year, and this guy's up 61% for 1 year. Go to year to date, it's up 27%. 3 years is up 19%. So I mean, look, we've got some growth, no doubt about it, but not certainly. I mean, over the last year, certainly it's extraordinary. But given what everything else has done, would shock me. All right, the average volume is about 1.3 million. That's over the last 10 days. I wonder if we can get a thing on volume here someplace. I'm sure we can somehow, but I just wonder if that's the volume is that simply because the news that Principal is getting bought out. I don't know. But anyway, so far we already have 210,000 shares trading, which is pretty interesting to me. All right, 61 cents a dividend. That's a regular dividend, 61 cents. They already paid that at 6.3. Now, this isn't an IRA, so I'm not buying a dividend. Presumably, you won't either. But let's go to, we want to go to shares held by institutions, 69%. Annual dividend yield of 3.86, quarterly dividend right there. PE ratio is 10. 10 is PE ratio. Annual dividend yield $2. So you're getting $2 a share just to hold it while they're waiting for something to happen. So they're making money and they have a good dividend as well, which is good. 70% held by institutions. So I want to see who the top holders are. Let me see if I can't find that out. Hold on a second. This is interesting. Back in 2001, it's trading at 20. Went all the way up to, what's that, right there. 2007 is at 63. So it's right back to where it was in 2007. Isn't that crazy? And it's still below where it was in 2018. It was at 63. I just find that interesting. So right now it's at, well, I guess that's 63 now. Right there is at 70, roughly 75. And back then it was at 69. So it's lower than it was, what's that, 12 years ago, 13 years ago. Crazy. That's interesting to me. All right, so hold on. Who the three of the top 5 shareholders are: Vanguard, BlackRock, and State Street. With American Funds, number 4. Isn't that interesting? That's funny. So let's see if we can find insiders. I'm looking at Yahoo because right here, insider. There we go. Insider. I'm not sure why this wasn't shown on Schwab. All right. So who are the insiders? So all these guys got grants in May. I just like to see the CEO. We got a bunch of directors. Elizabeth Tallett is a retired. She sold some. I wish we could just see who the C, which is so with the C. Anyway, so all these guys. So Jocelyn Miller Carter, whatever the hell her name is, she got granted 65,000 shares. So let's see who Jocelyn. 65,000 shares. And does it say how many shares she owns? What's IPG? I don't know what that is. Isn't that interesting? So it doesn't say how many shares she owns. I don't see here. Transaction date, yeah, I'm not sure. So whatever, I don't really care that much. Where I'm going with this is at the end of the day, let's just look at insider transactions. Can we go change the last 24 months? So let's think, she just made $65,000 worth of grants. At 65, who knows what the price was she got? All right, here we go. So stock award at $0 per share. Whoa, is it going over? Oh, there we go. Right, so stop. This guy sold it at. So this guy sold at 65. All right, let's see. Deanna, CFO. Here we go. Does it say how many shares she has? So the CFO, what's her name? Dana something. Let's see her name in there. She sold 15,915 shares at 65 million bucks worth of shares. Is this all her? I don't know. Is that all her? Hey, let's just put it that way. She's right there. Deanna sold proceeds. So she's been selling some serious shares. And I don't know, that doesn't mean anything. I mean, I would too. But she's got like $4 million of shares just in the last year. Look at that, man. 1, 2, 5, 3 million of just in the last year. Go down here. Point being is all these guys are going to cash out once this company goes public, once the company gets bought out. So she sold these at 65. So the other lady got, who knows what she got. I don't know if we can go over here. Hold on a second. This is interesting to me. We'll go to, that's still her, Deanna. Let's go back to the retired lady. Insider transactions. There's CTO. Where's the retired? Let's go back. Hold on a second. This can be interesting. Insider roster. That retired person right there. So she's retired. She sold 44,000 shares at how much? At 65 bucks a share. She made 1.5 million. And then she just got granted 6 days later another 500 shares at $0 per share. Look at all these grants at $0 per share. Let's just, does it go back more than, does it go back? Nah, it doesn't go back. Shoot, I was hoping to go back to more than 2019. Look at that, man. Getting all these grants at $0 a share. Every month it looks like, every 3 months it looks like she's getting grants at $0 a share. Now she got to pay capital gains on it. Is that considered income? I don't think so. I mean, capital gain income, but geez. Wow. Why is this? What's the Antium? Anyway, look at that. What was that? Spinoff? ANTM? ANTM? What the hell was that? NDP? Let's keep going back. I mean, look at that. So let's just put that. She's going to be sitting on some serious scratch when this company buys back their shares and look a lot cleaner. Be on the lookout for principals start laying people off to make it a cleaner break for when hedge funds buy it and private equity and whatnot. So that way they can have a higher and higher price in which to sell it and get a higher premium. All right, let's take a look at the C. I saw a C. Right here, insider transactions. Look at this, the CTO, Chief Technical, right here. Where's the CTO? Chief, ooh, we already did her. Oh, she sold some, sale. So she got granted all these right here at $0. She got granted 76 shares, all right. Oops, we gotta go back, hold on a sec. We'll go back to the CT. I saw the CTO in here. Where's the seat? Right there. All right, here's the Chief Technology Officer. There's Deanna again. And she's selling her shares like crazy. All right, so here's Kathleen K. That's $0 a share. Look at all these. 2020, 2020, 2020. She got, what's that, 5,000? Yeah, roughly 4,000 shares. Let's see how much that's worth. That's $65 a share. And that's just over the last year or so. Yeah, last year, 4,000 shares at 65. Oops, 65. 260,000 schmackers. Not bad. Hold on just a second. Kathleen K. Let's look her up. I just perused her LinkedIn, and she's friends with a lady who is now head of legislative affairs for the TVA, Tennessee Valley Authority. And I was like, who's that? How they connected? Did she used to work a principal? No, the lady who's now head of federal affairs for TVA is a big lib. She used to be she was on Sheldon Whitehouse's, that racist who only hangs out at all white clubs in Rhode Island. So I want to say, how does she feel about working for a racist Sheldon Whitehouse, who's now the director of federal affairs at TVA? Anyway, point being, she has a degree in political science, and not Kathleen K, someone she likes from a university, and then she went right into legislative affairs, working on various campaigns for Barbara Mikulski, Sheldon Whitehouse, Congressman Jim McDermott, the socialist from Washington, and then just moved up the ranks into various legislative affairs of PG&E, and now for TVA. It's all one big party, man, and you and I aren't invited. Kathleen K, more power to her. She's getting rich off corporate America. She might be a Republican. I have no idea. But once you're in the C-suite as senior vice president, man, you suddenly find yourself loving the good folks in Washington, D.C., even if you're living in Des Moines, that's for sure. And you become friends with all the people who focus on that area, the teat of the government sector. And yet these guys are getting rich, man. So I just laugh. This is not a slight against Kathleen K. I don't care. Do what you got to do. But I just find it funny how the C-suite types all run in the same circles, and they get paid bank. And now principal is going to lay off a lot of people, and yet the senior executives are going to get paid. And so I figured, hey, I'll put 100 shares, and I'll go along for the ride. Be careful with stocks you buy. I'm not saying you should buy this. By all means, you do your own research. I'm not making any recommendations. In fact, if I buy it, you probably ought to short it. I'm not saying that either. Just say it. We'll see you.